Hello everybody and welcome back to Vintage Thursday. So today, as you can tell, we are with the 3095 and finally we're going to make a start on hopefully getting this thing into a workable condition. So this has a number of electrical issues. I can't pinpoint what it is yet, but hopefully over the coming months, the rest of this year, we will dig into it and eventually get it sorted out. The first and the easiest thing we're going to sort out though is the starter solenoid. So pretty much every time we start this, we get the click click and then it will go. So the starter is not at fault, it is the solenoid on the top. Okay, and they're really easy to change. So we've got one here in this box. So the first thing towards getting a tractor reliable is making the thing start. So that's today's video. We are just going to swap the solenoid over. Hopefully it's not a big job. Access is really easy. So let's make a start. First thing we'll do, we'll just pull the bonnet panels off so we can get a bit better, get a bit more access and get some bit of space for the camera to get in there. Okay, so this part on the top is a solenoid. This is what we need to change. So there's two big terminals, and there is also some push-on terminals on the back of it. So this big red ended cable here is the main battery feed cable, goes up to the front of the engine where the battery is, and we've got the smaller connections taking power away to various parts of the tractor and bringing power back from the alternator. So here is our new one, just to compare. So there's the top and the bottom terminals on it. This has these big push-on connectors. Not sure yet, we might not need those, but they just bolt on, but they're just held on by the nut, so we might need them, we might not. Easy enough to change. Just undo these two little nuts and then it will slide away. And then this is the bit that energizes when you turn your key, puts the starter pinion into mesh in the starter ring gear. Okay, so that's what that action there does. First thing we'll do, disconnect the battery cables. And then we have our two ring connectors. So we won't need our big spade connectors that are on the new solenoid. That is what these two, they're onto those big ring connectors. Okay, so this orange cable in the back is the one that connects to your ignition switch. So this is what energizes. That's what energizes the solenoid and makes your starter engage. All the connections off the top there, so there is a secondary on the second terminal. This is what takes the power down into the actual starter motor. Okay, so there's a bridging link that you won't see tucked away down. Right, so that is all the connections off and the little bridging link off the bottom terminal is gone. So now we need to do is just slacken off the two retaining nuts. One's nice and easy to see, the other one not so much. Things are not quite going to plan. Okay, so this nut here, easy to access, easy to undo. It's opposite number on the back side there. I just can't get a spanner in amongst all these pipes and the wires. So we're going to take the starter off, do it on the bench, nice and easy. So there's three nuts holding the starter on, two easy to catch hold of here, and one again hidden away. But we've got that hidden away one off. So we'll just quickly whiz these two nuts off, and that will then let the starter come away. And it's pretty dirty behind there, so it's not the end of the world to take it off anyway, give it a bit of a clean up. But things aren't going as I was hoping. But there's no change there really, is there? So here we go. Well, well. Another development. So, it turns out it's probably a good job we have gone as far as we have. We're looking into the starter hole, and you can see here a bit of the starter has stayed behind in the hole. It's cracked off, and the flywheel is gradually sawing its way through it. So this could turn out to be a blessing in disguise, that we couldn't get that little nut undone at the back. Let's assess the damage. So this is engine side of the starter motor, okay, and this is what the end of a starter motor should look like. Okay, so this will just roll it over. So this is the side we were just looking at while we were disconnecting it. Okay, there's the nut there holding on the solenoid, and this should be a complete casting. Okay, that hole, all this here has been worn away by the flywheel and the starter ring gear, because for some reason this broke away a long time ago by the looks of it, judging by the amount of dirt and grease that has got onto the broken surface. It's been broken a long time. This casting is here to support the end of the shaft. There's a bronze bush in there to support the end of the shaft, because when the starter is engaged, this pinion pushes out, engages into the ring gear, which is what the solenoid does. Okay, so that energizes and pushes that out, and then engages the contacts to spin the motor. Without that support frame on there, this motor is not going to last very long. Where this has been wearing away at that casting, all that dirt and dust has gone up into the motor, so it's not going to last 5 minutes anyway. Change it. We need to put a new one on. So we are now back on the 3095 starter motor project. It's been a little 3-week delay. We've been busy silage making, but anyway, so we have our new starter motor come. This arrived ages ago now. We've not been waiting for it to come. I've just been waiting to get time to put it on. But there has been something else we've done while we've been waiting. So something else we've done during this little video, we've cleaned away 30 years worth of dirt and dust from behind the starter motor. And you will notice here is a little brass bung, normally hidden away by the starter motor. That is the drain for the coolant in the engine. So we've taken the opportunity, that is normally hidden away behind the starter, so we've used this opportunity while it's easily available. So we have drained, flushed and refilled the coolant system, so it's all got new antifreeze in now. So that's one little job made so much easier just by not having the starter there. So what we'll do, we'll just give this, because this has been exposed for a couple of weeks now, we'll just give that a quick polish up, get that nice and clean, ready to get a nice earth connection across, and then we'll get our new starter fitted, put the wires back on. We are going to do a little bit of changing of the wires up at the front end. We'll explain why in a minute. So let's get the starter on. So just a little bit of emery tape, just clean around the hole. And there is the tricky nut hidden away around the back to get on. Sometimes you can get a socket on a long extension bar in behind, but not on this one, because the starter body sticks out too far. You can't do it. Right, there you go, starter secure. So we said we were cleaning the face off to get a good earth through. There is a bolt, or there is a point on the back here to run a separate earth lead to. I don't think we didn't have that before. We'll leave that alone, and we'll just connect up our cables and hope to earth through here. I don't see why it wouldn't. It was fine before, but we'll just nip that. We'll just do that up just so the nuts don't fall off. But I don't think we need to use it. Okay, so we do have on the top these large terminals. We don't need to use those because our cables have got rings on. So we'll take them off out the way, give us a bit more room in there. Okay, so first thing we put on is our starter energizing terminal from the ignition key. We'll do that first while it's accessible. So that's just a push on connector. And then we will give them a clean up. Just a bit greasy. So they can go on first. And then the big battery cable. Get that all nice and tight. Right, so that's tight. We'll just check this one. Oh, he's tight. Check the back one. Right, that starter is finished. So now we're going to turn our attention to the battery end of the cable. So what we have here, this is the positive lead, negative lead, you can't see it, it's over there. So we replaced that one last year. You just see it looping up there. That is the one when we installed a battery isolator, we put an entire new cable and new battery terminals on it. On the negative side, so this is the positive side. Piggybacking off the battery terminal, we have these two power cables. Now what I don't like about this system, you can see that terminal there, it's pretty screwed up, it's all a little bit rusty. Because this tractor is not an everyday working tractor, it doesn't have a battery of its own. The battery gets changed regularly when I want to put it on something else. So every time you do this clamp up, that terminal gets a little bit mangled. So what we're going to do, we're going to do away with this terminal and this. We are going to put a crimp-on end on the end of the terminal that will bolt to this bolt-on battery terminal, and then we can replace this ring terminal with one that goes onto there, and it never gets touched when we're taking batteries on and off. Okay, so the sun has come out, it's making things awkward. But that's the plan, that's what we're going to do, and that is why we're going to do it. So I can take batteries on and off, and this bit, this fitting here doesn't get mangled up, it just stays tight all the time. So that's the problem, that it's all a little bit rusty, it's getting damaged, and we need good contact here. So that's got to go. So this battery terminal can go and live another day on a different machine. Just get ourselves a nice new clean end. Bits of wire gone everywhere now. And we just trim back the insulation. Now what we'll do, we'll put a bit of this red sleeve in over it, just so it's easy to identify which is positive in the future. So that gets our end on. What we're going to do is make sure it's in the right orientation. We don't want it stuck up on the side. We want it to lay down flat like that before we crimp it, so that it will then all bolt together. Just make sure it's all pulled together tight. close the crimper. There we go, proper job. Looks very nice. Next is the turn of these two. Strip them back a bit. And then they can both go up into this connector. It's big enough to take the two biggish cables and then crimp him up. There we go. Proper job. Right, battery connector. Through there. Through there. We'll do that up once the battery's on. And that now looks like a nice proper professional job. All clean. Plenty of contact area to get enough current through. Right, let's get the battery in. Okay, so there we go. Here's our cable, crimped end, new crimped end here, all done up nice and tidy. Really pleased with the way that's turned out. We do have a serious corrosion issue on the battery tray. I do have a new battery tray to fit, a nice custom made one, but it's a bit of a job. All this needs to come off to get it in. And what I think I'll do, the new tray is just in bare steel at the minute, so it all needs painting. What I think I'm going to do is dismantle the front end when it's time to do it. We'll dismantle the front end, get some repaint the nose cone and everything, get some paint on there and do that. That's a job for another day. We're not worrying about that at the moment. We have bigger issues on this tractor to sort before we get as far as this. So that is it. We are ready for the start. What we do, we just give our we'll check our oils, make sure our water's okay. It may well drop a little bit once it runs. Once the water goes up round once the water goes up round the heater system, we may have to top up. But yeah, here goes. Here is the true test of our starter. Hopefully we don't get no more click click clicking. So there we go. What started out as a quick change the solenoid video all of a sudden went a whole lot farther. But we now have a nice new starter. Starts up in an instant like it should, which is what we need. So we did end up covering more in this video than I was anticipating, but there we go. We are another step closer to getting this thing right, and this year it is going to get done. It's going to get sorted. We have electrical issues on this tractor. We need to do a few tests, but I'm 99% sure the Autotronic box down under the cab is going to have to go off and be fixed. But there's a few tests we can do before then, just to eliminate things. So we will be doing all that later on in the year. So I would say thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.